Hi, welcome to yoga. For today's mini flow, we're going to be exploring a pose called extended side angle, and it's got so many options, which is what makes it really great. So whether you're new to yoga or you've been doing yoga for a number of months or a number of years, there's an option to suit you. Also, you can adjust it depending on your goals. So if you're working to improve your flexibility or you're looking to enhance your strength, extended side angle has an option for you. So we'll start today's practice in tabletop. When you're ready, make your way to your mat. Our tabletop sit position sees our hands underneath the shoulders. We're on all fours and the hips are over the knees. So we're going to take a moment here just to ground ourselves. We're looking for a flat back, so draw the belly button in. And then as you push the ground away, the shoulders should loop back ever so slightly. The tailbone is long and the crown of the head is lifted, and we're breathing in and out through the nose. So we're just going to find a moment here to bring our attention onto the mat, into our breathing and into our body. And now we'll start with a little bit of movement. We're going to shift forwards and backwards. You can make the movement as big or as small as you wish, just rocking over the shins and over the wrists. When you've done 2 or 3 in one direction, take it side to side. So you might notice more movement at the shoulders or more movement at the hips. Feel into your body, see what feels good. When you've done 2 or 3 in that direction, let's take it forwards and backwards again. Maybe now the movement becomes a little bit bigger. Remember that the breathing is always natural and rhythmical, and we've got that lovely long flat back. Side to side again when you're ready. Try and keep your balance with all 4 limbs on the ground. And then we're going to mix it up. We're going to make a figure of 8. So the hips go in one direction, shoulders go in another. Doesn't really matter what it looks like, just feel into it. And reverse the direction. So send the shoulders back the way you just came. That was my hip, just give me a little click. So your joints might do the same, just letting you know that they're there. Okay, back into our neutral tabletop. All right, we're going to take a few rounds of cat and cow. So breathing in, the belly drops, chest rises, the head can lift. So feel the stretch through the front of your body. And when you breathe out, tuck your chin to your chest, push through the shoulders and tuck your tailbone. Let's go 2 more times. Big breath in, chest comes forward, tailbone and head lift. Big breath out, push the ground away, dome the back, pull the belly button in. 1 more time. Inhale. And let it go, exhale. Good, nice, well done. All right, sink your hips back over your heels. You can widen the knees a little bit if that feels good, or reach your hands forward. Take a nice stretch through the shoulders. I quite like to claw my hands into the mat as I try and pull my hips back. It gives me a really nice stretch. Aiming to lower the chest if that feels good. Awesome. Scoot your hands towards you just by a couple of inches. Tuck your toes, and then you're going to hover your knees up off the ground before straightening your legs, lifting your hips high and pushing back into your heels for downward facing dog. Bend and extend each leg, so take a little bit of movement at first. I'm looking towards my toes, which encourages my chest to pull towards my legs, and my hands are ahead of me, pushing into the ground. When you're ready, pause in your downward facing dog. You're going to take your right leg, lifting it up and back. As high as you can, toes lift towards the ceiling, then take a bend of your right knee, the heel comes towards your hips. Shoulders still square. The right knee now travels towards your chest. Roll forward to plank, lift your body up high so the hips are high and the heel of the left foot is high, and then you're going to step your right foot between your hands. And if you need to help it along to get there, you can do that too. Lowering the hips when you're ready, and then take a breath in, fingertips rise above the shoulders for high lunge. So my back leg is straight and I'm up on my toes, but if yours looks a little bit more like this, that's absolutely fine. Generous with the bend in the front knee, drawing the tailbone down, pulling the belly button in. And the back heel is going to come to the floor. I'm going to press out on my right knee and send my arms long, relaxing the shoulders. This is Warrior 2. So keep the bend in the front knee. Maybe you can sink a little further if that feels good. And as we approach extended side angle, you're going to flip your right palm up, taking the forearm just above the elbow, down onto the right knee, so onto the thigh, and let the hips sink down if that feels good. Notice now how I'm making a long line from my ankle, through my knee, through my hip into my shoulder, and I'm going to extend that line up with my left hand, reaching towards the sky. Good, awesome. Now watch out for sinking into your right shoulder. Try and push the ground away. So you're strong here, you're active in your shoulder. And then if you're reaching up with the left hand, you should have a really nice stretch to the side of the body, but the shoulders are strong too. Okay, so here are your choices. You can stay here. This is extended side angle and it's a lovely pose already. If you're working on flexibility, take your right hand down towards the mat. So starting to sink down, I've got my shoulder in line with my knee, my hip is a little bit more open, the knee bends, but I'm still lifting with the left shoulder. So watch out for rolling down towards the floor, especially if you're watching where you've placed your hand. Try and loop the shoulder up and back. You should get a really nice stretch through the inner thighs. Your third option is to come from this position where you've got the forearm on the thigh and hover the forearm off the thigh. So you just lift it by an inch or two. And you'll notice the leg activates a bit more, it's stronger in the core. And if you want to take this even further, take the right hand up and overhead. Stronger, you've added more weight further away from your center of gravity, but you're still breathing, right? We're here for 3, and 2, and 1. Slowly roll your shoulders towards the ground, land your hands on the mat, pivot on your back foot, lifting through the body. You're going to step back into plank. Pausing here just to catch your breath, shoulders over the wrists, and then we're going to bend our elbows, making our way down onto the mat. So the elbows bend, they stay close to the body, lower down, land lightly, release the toes. Take a breath in, push the ground away for Cobra. If you prefer, you can keep more of a bend in your arms, but if it feels good, straighten the arms to stretch through the front of the body. Softening down towards the ground again, tuck your toes, bend your knees, bend your hips, and then lift the hips up. And we're back in downward facing dog. Let's stay here for 2 big breaths, taking just a little moment to settle into the breathing and slow the heart rate. And we're going to do that same sequence on the left side. So the left leg is going to lift up and back, high to the sky. When you're ready, bend the left knee, bring it close, the heel close to your hips. The knee stays bent, but you're going to squeeze it in towards your chest now. Rolling forward, shoulders over the wrists, lift the body high, and then step your foot through between your hands. Help it along if you need to, it can take a couple of steps. Sink the hips down, and when you're ready, breathe in, the fingertips lift, and we're up to our high lunge again. Shoulders over the hips, both shoulders and hips facing the front of your mat. The back heel then lands lightly on the floor, press out on your left knee and send your arms wide. So turn lengthways along your mat. This is Warrior 2. Take a look at your left hand, flip the palm and take your forearm down towards your left knee, resting it on the thigh, and then extend your side angle by reaching your right hand up and over. So there's a long line all the way from the right ankle and heel, up the knee, towards the hips, up the shoulder, and then eventually into the hands. Remember, we're pushing away with the left elbow so the shoulder is active rather than sinking into the joint, because there's not a lot of work going on here. Now the muscles are active and they're engaged. So option 1, stay here exactly as you are. This is already a nice pose. If you're working on flexibility, lower the left hand down towards the mat. Let the hips come low if that feels good. Bend the knee a little bit more. Still reaching up and over with the right shoulder. So I've got my left shoulder on my left knee here, just pressing to maintain the position. Remember, your other option, if you're looking to get stronger, is to take your forearm just slightly off the knee by an inch or 2. Now the shoulder has to hold its own anyway, with the body working a little harder. And then also reaching up and over. Keep breathing. We're here for 3, and 2, and 1. Slowly rotate your shoulders down towards the mat. Land your arms, pivot on your back toe, lift up and step away into plank. Take a moment to catch your breath, lengthen your body. Then we're going to lower down towards the mat again. Bend the elbows, breathe out, land lightly, release the toes, push away from the ground for Cobra, or with the arms a little more bent, Baby Cobra. Gently soften down towards the mat. Tuck your toes, bend your knees, bend your hips, and lift them up. Downward facing dog again. Good, well done. 2 more big breaths. Taking the time to slow the heart rate. Maybe the heels can sink a little bit lower down. Deep, gentle breaths. Good, lovely. All right, when you're ready, lift high onto your toes. Lift your hips, draw the belly button in, and then sink the knees down gently towards the mat. Once they've landed, release them. Send your hips back over your heels. Take a reach forward and you'll find yourself in child's pose. If it's comfortable, widen the knees here, just to give the hips a little bit more space. And then you can either keep your arms straight, or if you prefer, bend the elbows. It might be a little bit kinder on the shoulders. You can just gently rest your forehead onto the mat. Close your eyes. Just assess what it is that you've just achieved. Whether you've explored one particular version of extended side angle because you knew there was a challenge that you were looking for, or you knew it was going to work for your body, or whether you tried something new, holding it for those 3 breaths, you've done really well. So remember always to give yourself a little bit of thanks. Make sure that you're generous with the praise that you give yourself and your achievements. Your body is a fantastic thing. So you can rest in child's pose as long as you need, or as long as you want, or you can start another video. But if you're ready to wrap it up for the day, slowly rise yourself up and onto your knees. Sit your hips back, shins on the ground, spine long. Let the shoulders drop back. And we're just going to seal the practice by bringing the hands to the center of the chest and bowing the head. Thank you for your time, and I hope I will see you again soon.